We've been sold this idea that real happiness is all about focusing on ourselves, me time, self-care, setting boundaries, and cutting out anyone who doesn't fit our vibe. It's all about putting up walls, thinking that's the path to contentment. But for those who've wandered down this road, it often leads to a place that's darker and more isolating. The deeper we dig into our inner world, the more complicated and lonely it can get. And while it's true that healing requires facing hard truths, it's important to realize that healing alone doesn't equate to happiness. So, what does happiness really look like? How do we get to the place where we fall asleep with a sense of peace and wake up excited for the day ahead? Here's a truth that might surprise you. Happiness doesn't come from just focusing on yourself. In fact, it's intertwined with the happiness of others. That might sound counterintuitive in a world that often equates putting others first with self-neglect. And yes, in some cases, people can lose themselves trying to make others happy, especially in toxic relationships. But this isn't about sacrificing yourself for everyone. It's about recognizing the joy that comes from spreading kindness and uplifting those you care about, or even a stranger who crosses your path. We're all connected in ways we can't fully explain. We share the same human experiences, the same social norms, even if we come from different parts of the world. Treating others with respect and compassion has a ripple effect. You'll notice that the people who seem the happiest are often the ones who make others feel seen and valued. Their warmth brightens a room. Their kindness leaves a lasting impact. Life becomes much tougher if you're constantly hard on people, if you snap at the waiter, vent your frustration in traffic, or take your bitterness out on someone online. When you bring negativity into the world, it inevitably finds its way back to you. Now, what if you could commit to one simple idea? No matter what happens, you'll approach others with kindness. Can you look at yourself in the mirror each morning and promise to be the kind of person who treats people well, regardless of how you're treated? Sure, it's harder when others aren't being kind to you, but that says more about them than it does about you. They're trapped in their own unhappiness, while you're choosing a different path. Being on the receiving end of someone's negativity is tough, but it's nothing compared to living in that constant state of misery. Back in 1938, Harvard scientists set out to uncover the secret to a fulfilling life by tracking the health and happiness of a group of young men through a study that has now spanned nearly 80 years. What started with 268 participants has grown to include their children, making the study one of the most comprehensive of its kind. Over the decades, the researchers have learned that while some became wildly successful, others struggled with addiction or mental illness. But one discovery consistently stood out: the significance of meaningful relationships. The study revealed that relationships have a far greater impact on our well-being than any form of self-indulgent care. Good relationships aren't just nice to have, they're essential. Even if life hasn't always been kind, and you've faced more than your share of struggles, there have likely been moments when someone kind crossed your path. These encounters matter, and it's up to you to recognize their value. Take the initiative, invite someone out for coffee, follow up after a conversation, be the one to start making plans. People aren't always unresponsive because they don't care. They may be busy or shy. Don't assume the worst. If you already have good relationships, cherish them. Nurture those bonds, because this is where lasting happiness is found. We're not meant to go through life isolated. We're social beings with a remarkable capacity for empathy and understanding. Pulling away in the name of healing often just deepens the gap between you and the joy you seek. So, start with simple acts of kindness. Smile genuinely at a stranger. Offer help when you see the chance. Be that person who makes someone else's day a little bit better. It won't just brighten their world, it'll lighten yours as well. Influencing the happiness of others isn't just a skill, it's a superpower we all have. And when we use it, it transforms not just the world around us, but the one within.